When I see the people who seem to have it all, I've imagined just because they have what I don't have, their life must be better. It is heavy, like there's no hope, there's no joy. Everything is unsettled.
The things that we've talked about, growing as a wholehearted woman, knowing God, knowing who we are, why is it so hard? Why is it so difficult to come alive as a woman and live with freedom and joy? Well, our lives are opposed. Every moment around us, we are surrounded by a battle that is raging. We live in a war zone. We can't talk about the freedom and the healing and the life that Jesus wants for us unless we talk about spiritual warfare. Let me read to you from 1 Peter 5, verses 8 and 9. And it says, "Be self-controlled and alert. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. Resist him, standing firm in the faith, because you know that your brothers throughout the world are undergoing the same kind of sufferings." Peter is assuming something. He is assuming that spiritual warfare is a part of every person's life. In fact, when you become a Christian, it comes with the territory. Now, I used to think that spiritual warfare was reserved for people in authority, people in leadership, people who were pastors or preachers or, I don't know, really high up, not normal people, not accountants and homemakers, not lawyers and nurses. I was so wrong. When I became awake to the reality of spiritual warfare and began to obey the mandate, the command to stand firm and resist the devil, I came into a freedom that I had no idea was possible. It's a freedom that we all want. Most of us are familiar with John 10:10, where Jesus says, "I have come that they might have life and life to the full." Well, that is actually the second half of a verse. It's preceded by, "The thief has come to steal, kill, and destroy." Same breath. Now, Jesus wants life for us, but that life is opposed. We live in a great love story. The story that God is telling is rich and beautiful and true, but like every good story, there is a villain. Think about the stories that you loved growing up. There's the big bad wolf. There's the Lord of the Ring. In Cinderella, there's the wicked stepsisters. In Lion King, there's Scar. In Sleeping Beauty, there's the wicked queen. In The Lion and the Witch in the Wardrobe, there's the white witch. In Titanic, there's the creepy fiance. Every story has a villain. Why? Because yours does. But most of us are not living like it. Most of us are living on any given Tuesday like life is supposed to be a day at the beach. It's supposed to run smoothly and well. And so we get our beach chair, we get our book, we get our umbrella, and we sit down at the beach and bullets start flying. It happens to be D-Day, and we're on the beaches of Normandy. You see, we have seriously misunderstood our situation. And the sooner we come to grips with the situation we find ourselves in, the better it will go for us. We were born into a world at war. Remember that trip into the Promised Land? It was war to get there, and it is war to keep it. We are living in a larger story, in a love story. Here's the basic plot. Satan has come to destroy us, and Jesus has come to heal us and restore us. Restoration, that is the goal, but it is opposed.
This is me and my siblings growing up, and me as a baby. We lived in the country and always had animals and stuff, so love animals. These are my favorite people in the whole wide world. They were my neighbors growing up. They were within walking distance, and I could always go to on my own. I was allowed to go down and visit. And I think like in a family of 4, I was the youngest, but by that time your parents are a little worn out by having kids or something, and so they gave me all the attention that I longed for. So I love that. To be married to a good man was one of my biggest hopes and dreams. I've actually been married twice, and both marriages failed, and both men chose to be unfaithful. And so dealing with betrayal, and I grew up in the church, so getting a divorce was just like so nothing that I could even like consider. I felt betrayed by God. Like, why did you allow this? It's played a huge role in how I compare myself to people who are married. They have something that I don't have. Like that thing of I'm unlovable. Nobody wants to love me.
There's a reason why your life has been hard in the ways that it has been hard. There's a reason why your wounds have seemed to land in the same place, speaking to you of the woman that you are or the woman that you will never be. You live in a spiritual war zone. We all do. And if you doubt it, then turn on the news. Go on social media. There are over 40 million human beings trafficked today. 25% of those are children. Depression, it's the leading cause of disability in the world. Suicide is the second leading cause of death. We are being hammered, and most of us are not aware of it. The story of your life is the story of the long and intentional pursuit of one who knows you best, loves you most, in order to woo and win your heart to himself. It is also the story of the long and sustained assault against your heart from one who knows who you could be and fears you. John 10:10 is true. Jesus has come that we might have life and life to the full. But there is a thief.
Sometimes it's really hard for me to tell, is this the enemy or is this God? It is so hard when there is, a piece of truth, that makes you like really question or not. I'm not married and I don't have that kind of relationship. Even though I'd love to have it, it's just not mine. It feels like I'm unlovable. This is actually really hard for me to be even amongst you, because where the enemy comes against me particularly is with comparison. And it's really hard. Like when you're around a group of women that you hold in esteem and you love, and you also see all the things that you wish you had that you don't have. And the enemy, it makes me so mad because he wants to have me shut down and have me not be me or bring me because I'm trying to be Stacy or Juanita. If I could only be taller, if I could only be thinner, if only I could be married, if only I could be wealthy. The agreement is then that I am unchosen, I'm unwanted. I have to constantly be aware of that. Is one of the things the enemy can really turn my gaze off of Jesus, is comparing.
What do you say to yourself when you pass a mirror? What do you say to yourself when you really mess things up? What do you say to yourself when you leave a gathering? Are you even aware? You need to tune in. Spiritual warfare operates to separate us from the love of God. It keeps us from believing that it is true for us. Oh, I believe God loves her, but me, not so much. That's the effect of spiritual warfare. He wants us to think that we are less than. And he speaks to us. We hear lies that float through our head when we have blown it, when we feel that we're not measuring up, that we don't, never have, never will. You heard Sue's story. She goes to comparison. When we go to comparison, everyone loses. You're either better than or never good enough, and it steals your life. The enemy whispers lies to us, particularly about who we are and who we will never be. And when we believe those lies, we come into agreement with him, agreement with the enemy. That is not what God wants. That puts a weight and a sorrow and a pain over our lives. We need to break those agreements and ask Jesus what is true. What does he say about us in those very places? The battles for spiritual warfare are waged and won in our mind, in our thought life. So what are you believing? What are you thinking? Yeah, right now. What are you thinking about yourself? What are you thinking about God? What are you telling yourself about your life? Does it align with what Jesus says? Because we need it to. What we think, what we're believing, it has an effect. It plays out in our lives. Now, my deepest wound was that I was rejected. So I believed that no one would ever stay. Everyone ultimately would leave. And I lived with that posture, basically pushing people away. Psalm 51:6 says, "You desire truth in my inmost being, not the lies of the enemy." If my wound was rejection, then I believed I was a disappointment and basically unwanted. I know I share that with a lot of women, that sense, that belief that if I wasn't unwanted, I am unwanted now. Well, let me show you how this works. I break the agreement that I am rejected and unwanted. Jesus was rejected on my behalf, and he did everything, won everything to win me to himself. God planned on me before time and space. I am wanted. And so are you.
Hey, Max. Hey, guys. How's it going? Good. How are you? Good to see you. Sorry. Miss you. I know.
It's easy to feel at home at Sue's house. She's a good friend, amazing friend.
When I come to Sue's house, I laugh a lot and we talk about things that we don't feel like we can say other places.
Doing life alone it's rough. You girls are you pull me up. You bring me Jesus and say what's truth. You bring me truth when I can't see the truth, when I'm believing lies. I have to make a choice and I have to stand against the enemy. But like if you'll speak truth to me and my community will bring me light in the midst of, my murky darkness, it's essential for me. Like it's essential. And I love you guys.
The recovery of our heart, it's absolutely essential in order for us to have the life that Jesus won for us. But it is a fight to get that back. And first, you must fight for your own heart, to stand in the truth, to have it based on the Word of God and not your experiences, not your circumstances, and not the messages of the wounds that came to you, but the Word of God. The goal is life. The goal is restoration. We want you to live and be able to fight for the hearts of others.
Subi, happy birthday! I love you so much. I'm so grateful for you. Happy birthday, Subi.
Hey, Subi. Happy birthday.
You are such a gift to my soul. To think of your friendship is just to have been blessed with the most tremendous gift. You have taught me to love others well, and it's because you do love others well.
You're such a good companion and friend.
There's no one like you. No one.
I'm so glad you were in my life.
I love you, Subi. Bye.
When I do ask God for the words of truth to break the lies and that I am hearing from the enemy, to break the agreements, the words that God speaks to me are the words that my friends are saying. I am lovable. I love well. I am wanted. I'm seen. I'm not invisible. I'm really full. I'm not lacking anything. I have something worth offering. And if I don't bring it, who will?
Good boy. Nice. You're good. You're good puppies. Oh my goodness. Silly puppies. Silly puppies.
I grew up hating this piece of me, where I was potentially overweight, where I didn't have good fashion. It's hard because those things can carry with you for life, and I think that did the questioning of like, am I enough? Finding my beauty to unveil, I think such a familiar internal dialogue is, your body's not beautiful, your heart's certainly not beautiful. I'm never strong enough, I'm never healthy enough. What beauty do you have to offer?
I know that this is a tricky subject to talk about. Beauty, as the world has defined it, has been extolled and worshipped and kept out of reach. The message most women have received is, you're failing, try harder. Or for many women, the message was, that's the only thing of value you have to offer. So if you're failing here, well, you know, beauty is important. It's actually vital. Beauty is powerful. Yours is. Beauty is healing. That's why we send the grieving or those recovering from illness flowers, because beauty speaks to the world that all will be well. Think of your most beautiful places to visit, the mountains, the forest, walking along a stream, or sitting in the garden. Being in the presence of beauty allows your soul to breathe deeply the reality that life wins, love wins, good prevails, God reigns. And women are made in the image of a beautiful God. We are the incarnation of a captivating king. Beauty draws others to the heart of God. Of course, it's been opposed, maligned, beaten down, harmed, diminished. It's because it matters. Let me try to make it less foggy. The essence of masculinity is strength. Now, I'm not talking about strength physically. It's not in the form of big muscles. They are made in the image of a warrior God who comes through for us. I'm talking about a strength in a man that intervenes on your behalf, that speaks, that stops you from having harm. Similarly, women are made in the image of a beautiful king. Beauty is the essence of femininity. But I'm not talking about a perfect figure or a smooth complexion. It's about mercy, compassion, vulnerability, and strength. Women want to impact their world for good. By offering their beauty in a myriad of ways, they do. Now, this is the terrain of our hearts where we have received our most painful wounds, the deepest wounds. Things were said, things were done, telling us that the only thing that matters from us is our beauty, and that if we don't have any, we're failing completely. It's been painful. And for some women, it's been a source of abuse. It's been awful. And here's the crazy thing. Though it has cost us countless tears and untold anguish, we still long for it.
I think looking at these photos, what I notice about me is how happy I am. I also think I was such a geek. When I was a little girl, I absolutely loved the Miss America pageants, and I was in Brownies, and my troupe put on a fashion show. One of the girls' parents owned a children's clothing store, and they brought in a model from Sears to show us how to walk down the stage, and I was so excited. My mom gave me her credit card to buy a couple outfits, and I just felt so grown up and so responsible. As I tried on outfits, the other mothers at the store just praised me and just telling me how beautiful I am. And so when I got home, I was just eager and excited to show my parents what I had bought with their money that they trusted me with. And so I changed in the bathroom, and I came out sporting this super 80s like yellow tank top jumpsuit. So I came out of the bathroom and presented myself to them, you know, hoping to get the same response as the mothers in the store. And I did not see that look of joy and delight. And so I moved closer to them, and I was like, the heart's in my belt, and I did a twirl, and still not much of a response. I remember going back, just kind of feeling a little defeated, closing the bathroom door. It wasn't like 20 feet from them, and I just remember hearing, "She looks so fat." It was heartbreaking and confusing. Looked in the mirror to try to see what they saw, but I couldn't stay there long, because when it comes from people who you love, what else can you believe but that it's true? There's nothing lovable about this girl.
You are beautiful. We long for a beauty on the outside, but we're not after a beauty that is merely skin deep. We want a beauty all our own to unveil, beauty that nourishes, beauty that brings life, beauty that offers mercy, beauty that draws others to the heart of God. Your beauty, dear ones, is under siege. It's been taunted and mocked and harassed. Because it matters, you matter. The enemy attacks the core of your heart, attacking your beauty to pin your heart down and to keep you from offering the passionate, powerful woman that you are. You are powerful. You do possess beauty because you are made in the image of a beautiful God. This isn't about the perfect figure or the thick hair or the white teeth or whatever. This isn't about anything, actually, that can be measured. How do you measure the beauty of a sunset? How do you measure how it feels when you are embraced by someone who feels safe? How do you measure what it feels like when, after sharing a part of your life with someone, your friend has tears in their eyes on your behalf? How do you measure forgiveness? How do you measure what it's like to come to know the love of God more fully? No, it can't be measured more than an external beauty that attracts. We long for an internal beauty that captivates, a beauty that is true to who we really are, a beauty that draws others to the heart of God. The only thing standing in the way of our beauty now is our doubt and unbelief that we don't have any, and the striving that we fall to as a result. The striving, the shame, really, it's time to come off the ride. I want to remind you of one of the most beautiful ways that you can offer yourself to someone else. It's by offering the gift of your presence. What I mean is attending to someone, paying attention to them, listening, leaning in. It truly is a rare gift. We are at our most true, our most beautiful self when we know that we are loved. And we can grow in knowing that we are loved throughout every course of our lives. And we know this by learning to see ourselves as God does. Well, how does he see us? What does he say? He says, "How beautiful you are, my darling. Your eyes are like doves. Let me see your face and hear your voice, for your voice is sweet and your face is lovely." Lovely. Now, isn't that a wonderful word? There's actually nothing more lovely to our Jesus than when we look to him with faith, with hope, and with love, whether we're operating from a full tank or just a tiny drop.
It's been such a journey to try to start learning to bless my body, because it's felt unlovable, unacceptable, and judged most of my life, where I could never see the beauty in it. So that's just, your typical teenage adolescence difficulty. And then at the age of 35, when I had my first round of cancer and chose to have the double mastectomy, my body in particularly has felt extremely assaulted. And I have felt betrayed by it. And it's just like you get back up and I think I've lived most of my life thinking it's all about the outward, and I haven't paid much attention to on the heart level. And so I think so much of my true self has been hidden. And I think I learned that when I didn't have hair to hide behind, that I trusted my heart, living from my heart more. And I think I did feel more beautiful than ever.
Yeah.
Because I was living from that place.
Our beauty does not diminish as we age. Rather, the opposite is true. It increases because we are being transformed into the very image of God. Remember 2 Corinthians 3:18? It says, "And we, who with unveiled faces contemplate the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into his image with ever increasing glory." We don't have to live under condemnation or shame or rejection any longer. God does not condemn us. He does not reject us. As Stacy shared her story, she shared things with us that we have in common. The shame we might feel over our body not measuring up to the level of some standard that was imposed on us or that we think it should. But beauty, again, it's much deeper than that. Beauty has to do with what is planted in your soul, a unique offering that is yours to give. It's the beauty that you bring relationships. It's the beauty that you bring to your work. It's your beauty that brings life to others and literally speaks to them of the heart of God and makes them want to know him. It's not in the words you say even. It's not actually in the things you do, but it's in how you bear his image, and they lose sight of you when you're talking or when you're speaking truth or when you're offering, but they see Jesus, who is beauty himself. When you are engrossed only thinking about your outward appearance, it keeps you from being able to step out and offer the true you. When you're bound in shame, you don't think anything is wanted, and so you offer nothing. You don't say, "How are you?" You don't listen in. You don't risk loving another person because you think that you're going to be rejected. No. See how the enemy works? To pin you down here, to shame you here is an effective tool to keep you from being the powerful woman that you are meant to be. Not bound by something prescribed, but offering the truth of who you are. I have yet to meet a woman who wasn't beautiful. I have met many who don't believe they are. But when they come to me and they speak to me and they offer life to me, and I am enriched, that is what beauty does. Come on.
Little bird wants to talk too. It's so quiet.
This is where I feel like my truest self, where I can breathe and feel free.
It feels amazing to live from my true self. I know the moments when I am, and I know the moments when I'm hiding. I feel so free and alive. I heard God beckoning me into this trail. Along the way, I started seeing wild roses. And then he said, "Stacy, do you remember the last words your grandmother spoke to you? Those words were, 'You are the most beautiful rose God ever created.'" And the way that he caught my heart after the rejection, and that I am the most beautiful rose he created. My body is for me. It has walked miles with me, and it has kept me alive so that today I can still walk and stand.
Can I say this picture, I think this is one of the most beautiful pictures of you. And the real beauty comes through in your face there. It's not about your clothes or your hair or your makeup. All the things you think other people care about are not this.
I know God has just been fighting so hard to uncover the true Stacy, to call her out of hiding. Do you experience it too when you sense your true self being offered? Like, that is the beauty that is unveiled. And it feels rare, but I want her to show up more. She is beautiful.